Razzle dazzle.
Little Raz, the Razzmatazz.
Living lucky.
Right?
Oh yeah, so good.
That might actually work great.
That doesn't count.
Do you see that ball flight?
Stinger? Is that the tiger stinger?
When I'm dialed, I don't even leave a divot.
Good shot. This is a nice long hole for an introduction. Who are you?
Just happy to give my intro. I can talk during someone's swing. So Steve Tipler, managing director at PIPR Sandler, joined PIPR Sandler a year ago, almost to the day, after 20 years at Lazard. I joined there for the reasons that make PIPR great. I think it's the most complete middle market investment banking firm on the street. We offer pretty much all solutions to private equity, from raising primary funds to helping deploy capital to secondaries and CVs, restructuring should that be needed, and sell-side M&A advice. Excited to be at PIPR. It's been a really fun transition and a fun first year.
Can you explain sponsor coverage to everyone?
Sure. So when I started in the business, there wasn't such a thing. You know, private equity was just becoming sort of an emerging force, and now it's become the dominant force in M&A. And so what sponsor coverage basically is it's relationship banking. So you're creating relationships with a bunch of different financial sponsors all over the country. And as they make investments in different sectors and have different portfolio companies, you're introducing sector bankers to them that have long histories of doing deals in that space and sector.
In a specific industry.
Into that specific industry, or even a sub-vertical of it. And so you're bringing folks in with deep expertise. They're helpful as the private equity firm, kind of owns the business and grows it. They may make introductions to C-suite folks or board members, or they might introduce them to different add-on acquisition opportunities, and hopefully become important to them as they own the business. And then when it's time to sell, they think of that banker and our firm to sell it.
But you're covering from a relationship perspective. You're sort of like the call representing your bank for resources in whatever area that is.
That's exactly right. So the private equity firm thinks of me as their liaison within PIPR Sandler. So if they have a need, whether they want to see a deal or they want to talk to a banker or they want some intel or information about something we know that's going on in the industry, they call and make asks all the time. When you work at a place like PIPR, I think what's so interesting is how growth focused and entrepreneur focused it is. Like, they give runway to guys to create swim lanes. So if they want to build out a sector and become an expert there, they'll support that. If we don't have a banker, and private equity loves a subsector, we'll go out and add a banker. We've added so many great bankers over just the last few years. It's kind of like I give management a ton of credit, because they basically have said, look, we want to be the answer for private equity to whatever the question is. And that's just a fun mindset when you sit in a chair like I do. That's
you can do
relationships with the private equity firms that you're solving problems for. There's almost never a no. Like, you always have a banker that covers something, and you always have a product that you can offer. So it's been really fun.
Within your different verticals, do you have a stronger team than the other, or is it pretty even?
Yeah, I mean, I think every firm kind of is known for certain things, and for our firm, our services and industrials practice is one large group together, and that tends to be the one that drives the most sort of sell-side revenue of the groups. We also have a super strong historic healthcare practice that kind of goes beyond just traditional private equity, M&A and strategic transactions, IPOs, other capital raise transactions. It's a big and strong practice as well. So those two are really pretty dominant, and we've got a couple of just world-class consumer bankers. We've got folks scattered throughout. I mean, I feel pretty strong that we could put our roster up against pretty much anybody and win a mandate. And it's proven true. This past year, we've had some really big wins based really on the strength of those sector bankers.
Within all of your sectors that you have visibility to, which one's feeling the most active right now?
Anything that's touching services, whether it's consumer services, industrial services, just traditional business services, those sectors are really hot. Private equity loves those sectors, and they seem to be pretty resilient right now and performing well. And then the other end of the spectrum is anything that got hit with tariffs hard, so consumer stuff in particular, but even some ancillary hits too. It's impacting how long diligence is taking. It's impacting just interest in underwriting. There's certain deals that are just, you know, kind of more challenging to get done than they have been in the past, and so I think the impacts felt reasonably broad across multiple sectors. I think it's just slower, tougher to get deals done. I think the diligence process is taking longer. People are spending more time thinking about what impact tariffs might have on the business, even if it's not obvious at the outset. There's just a higher bar to clear for transactions than there were before.
I've been hearing it's not just tariffs though too, right? Like there's some valuation stuff. There's a questionable amount of deals just even entering the market on like, I mean, buy side and sell side are
I feel like
kind of.
the flow is decent. I feel like deals are getting done, but it's a different deal dynamic. Like we're showing it to fewer buyers, so being a little more discriminate as like, you know, who gets to see it and why. And then the number of buyers at the end of the process is less too. I think you have to have conviction to chase something.
Yeah.
So I don't think people are just chasing something to see if maybe they can hang around the hoop. I think people have to have a real conviction that they're going to win.
Yeah.
And so I think that's changed the dynamic too. We have fewer buyers at the final stages of the process, but valuations have stayed high and deals are getting closed.
How'd you find your way into the banking world?
I got my start after different couple of career choices. First, I was a journalist. I started in the broadcast side and then worked for a couple years on the print side. That told me, one, I loved writing and writing is a strength, and it paid off a lot in the future, but it also told me that I probably needed to make more money than what I was making back then, because living on ramen noodles for life was probably not the right choice. You know, and you meet somebody who's going to be your significant other and you start thinking about, you know, life and kids and things like that. So I went back to law school and I was an M&A and securities lawyer for several years.
Really?
Yeah. At the same time, I went back and got an MBA as well. And yeah,
That's a lot of school.
there's a lot in there. And then I jumped over to investment banking with a firm called Goldsmith Agio Helms in Minneapolis, which you know, was really the best career move of my life for sure, and just a fantastic place to learn banking, a bunch of great people, and an awesome experience. My upbringing, I think, was interesting. One, because you come at it from a little different perspective. You've seen some different things. You know, I think folks that come through the analyst program, the traditional way to go through investment banking, I think they see things from a different perspective too. So I think having a bunch of different perspectives and bringing those things to a client situation, a deal, whatever it is, proved really valuable. I think if you think back to like the Goldsmith Agio Helms days, that was really the foundation of it. It was more of a lower middle market firm focused on selling entrepreneur-owned and family businesses, and really providing kind of counsel beyond just sort of traditional investment banking. You became kind of a consigliere to the family on many levels, and sometimes even a therapist, as, you know, try to work through these transactions. And it was just an awesome way to learn banking and relationship management too. It was just kind of a perfect learning ground.
Who were the buyers back then? Like, because that was private equity was like it was a thing probably.
It was a thing, and it was growing and becoming more of a force. And I give credit to Dave Santoni and some of the other folks that recognized pretty early on that we needed to manage those relationships and figure out ways to monetize the relationship. But at the time, we were doing a lot of deals that were entrepreneur-owned businesses. We were getting introduced to entrepreneurs through board relationships, accounting relationships, legal relationships, etc. And we were selling a lot of businesses to strategic buyers. Back then. That was a big part of the process. And private equity was more like the backstop. You know, maybe there's some folks that would be interested in it from a financial sponsor standpoint. And that changed so rapidly as private equity became much bigger role and started to generate such huge returns, and more dollars flowed that direction. It just transformed the business. And I was fortunate then to make the move into the financial sponsor side, just as things were, you know, kind of blowing up. And able to build relationships with a bunch of folks who, you know, are now the the named partner and the name on the masthead for many of the best private equity firms in the world. So you kind of grow up with them in the business doing deals, and you're there the whole time. You see everything from start to finish. So it's been a good seat.
From like when you switched from journalism, you got a bunch of degrees. In that transition period, is there anything looking back on that you wish you would have done different or would have put you in a kind of better spot?
I don't think so. I think I had a unique experience where I got to just take some risks and some challenges. I think that's a big part of succeeding later in life, is taking some risks early and some challenges and putting yourself in spots that aren't super comfortable. So I don't think I would change much, if anything. I think the journalism background gave me the writing skills needed to succeed early on, particularly in law school. Law school gave me the analytical and sort of the rigor and the understanding of the framework of law. I think that was super helpful throughout my career. And then the investment banking side and particularly the relationship side on sponsor coverage has just been a perfect fit for me. It's just kind of exactly where I like to spend my time, is with getting to know great people and trying to help and assist in any way that I can. And so it's been a good fit all the way around. And I think what I'd say to young people too is, like, take some chances, take some risks, put yourself in tough spots. I think people are afraid to fail, and I think it's one of our best teachers. I think people need to fail more. I think you fail more, you succeed more.